So the storm did die down a little bit once I got in the tent, but then it rained on me for a good chunk of the night. I have been seeing a good number of vehicles coming by. I've even heard people stop, presumably have to pull out of my campsite here, but nobody's come over and said hello or started shooting yet. My morning coffee is starting to get just a hair stressful. Not only am I relatively low on coffee, but I really think I might end up running out of isobutane on this leg. I have to say, most of the time I've been pretty lucky with isobutane. You know, anytime you can find a Walmart, you can get it. A lot of times hardware stores and other things. When I first went to a PCT kickoff years ago and found out about thru hiking, at the time everybody was like, oh, alcohol stoves using like heat, these yellow bottles, things like that. And I went through a phase where I did that. But I eventually ended up on isobutane just because it's so flexible and convenient. So the big reason I took the risk to update to iOS 18 was the satellite messaging functionality that they've now built into the new phones, and with 18 you can now send text messages. And it is working. It is a little quirky, especially here where I am kind of in the trees. I've actually managed to get satellite signals pointing at kind of parallel to the ground. And it seems to decide, okay, this is the satellite you're getting, and doesn't let you say, okay, well, can I try this part of the sky, stuff like that. But as a free feature, it's kind of cool. Even if it was like a marginal cost a month, I would probably use it. I can text through the inReach. However, I keep the basic plan, which is just $11, $12 a month, that lets me do unlimited presets, meaning I can send my location out along with a canned message to set people that I've predefined. If I want to text, I get 10 free, and sending and receiving is each one. And then I have to start paying like $1 per text. Now, when things go wrong, like around Manzama, that's what I do. And honestly, that's cheaper than keeping any of the like unlimited text plans. This isn't going to replace the inReach for me, but it is a nice way to be able to keep in touch with like Jen. And because we got her a newer phone also, this could really help on the occasional things like Naked Hiking Day on the PCT, where she got ahead of me, assumed I was up ahead, and started just like taking off, and there was no way to get a hold of each other. Sadly, there is nothing really on the horizon that will let me upload episodes from out here, short of carrying around a Starlink, which I might do while we're paddling, but not when we're hiking. And here we go again. I had some video edits to catch up on, and it went from sunny to, yeah, it seems like it's going to come down on me. Okay, I think at least one or two people must have pulled over here and gotten out before seeing my tent, because I heard doors opening and closing. Also, this isn't quite San Juan levels of gyration between bad weather and good, but it is really hard to figure out what layers I want at any given point. I'm pretty sure based on clothing it's such that at least a good chunk of the people who are running around out here are hunting. That is kind of a bummer, not because I don't want people hunting or anything, but just because that tends to lead to less big animal sightings. I really loved out in the Black Hills where I was in that remote area where there was nobody around, and I was seeing just herds of elk running around. Seeing things like the moose the other day always just is a big special thing. Haven't had a good bear sighting on this trip, and I saw the bighorn sheep, but not the white mountain sheep that I got up close and personal with in 23 when I crossed Grays. But hey, still a good amount of time out here, hopefully. My foot seems to be doing better today, at least initially. The main concern at this point is kind of wrapping around the base of the heel on my left foot. It feels like it's a tendon or something. And it was hurting bad enough last night that I took ibuprofen, and then it seems better today. So it's just a management case. So today looks mostly more of the same, some up, some down. I'm not anticipating getting off the roads that I've noticed, but it can be hard to determine that. And I may end up down around Marble and getting close to Redstone tonight if things go well. Tomorrow will probably be a resupply, setting up for an 86-mile carry to the next town after that. Honestly, I'm more worried about stove fuel than anything else. that is one of those things where I can just, do no stove for a while and not have coffee because cold via sucks, and not do hot dinners. But at least for me, that is one of the big comforts of my life on trail. So we'll see. Jen can also mail one up ahead if there's a place that will accept packages. That is generally easier to do someplace like the CDT, where you can find any given lodge and they generally know what the deal is, and for free or a minimal cost they'll let you mail something. And Amazon does have some canisters for sale. The trick with isobutane canisters is they have to be shipped on ground, and so if she just tries to toss them into a normal box to me, that can cause issues. Per that guy, it is mule deer and it is archery right now. Though September gets a little complicated because it goes between archery, muzzle loader, and then rifle. It is kind of amazing how much more enjoyable it is out here when, my feet aren't hurting every damn step. I wish I could predict day to day what the heck was going on, but again, I have had stuff like this on other long hikes. I mean, pretty much everybody on the north end of the PCT my year was complaining about this like stabbing pain in their feet, and we still managed to finish it, even though that we had that for the last, 700 miles or so. Like I always say, you can't sweat the small stuff, because if you're going to sweat the small stuff, you ain't doing anything big like this. And honestly, even with some sort of, physical pain, whether it's you bang something, you rip something up, or, tendon pain, stabbing pain, it still comes down to just mental game most of the time. Especially later in the trip, I get tired. I am a little less enthused right now than I am, when I was in Delaware or anything. It's just kind of inherent because I've been out here so long and I enjoy it, but you also just get tired and you miss the little comforts. A number of my big hikes have ended up like this one, where I don't really know where the end is. CDT, I thought I knew. I thought I was going to finish a little before Thanksgiving, and then the universe decided to throw me a curveball. Here, I mean, I have roughly been saying Thanksgiving. It's also possible that the weather knocks things out and it's just not viable to continue earlier than that. Or, the least likely, maybe everything goes better than expected and I push into December and I actually make it into San Francisco. I will say, foot issues aside, I have been enjoying myself quite a bit more now that I'm back to not knowing what's going to be around every corner. The CDT was nice and mellow and butt kicker climbing, but easy access to facilities and everything. But yeah, I prefer not knowing what's ahead. I am pretty sure the only reason I got that campsite last night was due to the fact there wasn't good parking to pull your vehicle straight up, because it is busy out here. I will say, as far as my expectations coming out here, the little farm roads we spent a lot of time out in Kansas and things like this were what I was hoping for, I guess, when I was looking at the road walk numbers. The number one question I had from the CDT and Colorado Trail folks was, so is it just all walking down highways and things? And I try and give a balanced view, saying, sometimes you're on busy roads, sometimes you're on quiet roads, sometimes you're on trail. And that while you might be able to say that 2/3, 3/4 of this trail is on road, not all roads are made equal. There's stuff like this, which is just nice, easy cruising with occasional traffic. There are decayed Jeep roads I have been on that might as well be a trail. There is actual trail, especially if you stick to the red line. It is never going to hit the level of popularity of the big trails, but I'm glad stuff like this exists. So right now I am basically following a corridor in between the Elk and the Ruby ranges, headed to the northwest, and then it looks like it sets up a big traverse of the Grand Mesa National Forest. That is an area I'm not familiar with, First time I'll be in familiar territory again will basically be when I get near Moab. And even then, I've done canyons and paddles out there. I have a feeling a lot of what I'm walking in Utah is not going to feel very familiar. At least if I can believe the hotel bad weather gets better after today. I just consider myself fortunate as long as it is this kind of start and stop rain where things have a chance to dry out. The bad one is where it just sheets for 5+ hours. Everything soaks through. There's nothing you can do. Oh, and look at that. Oh, son of... Oh, I wish they marked bathrooms out here. So the map layer in Gaia, the basic Gaia feet topo layer, does incorporate some services. So sometimes it shows a bathroom, and then other times I have no clue. Sometimes Hiking America has it. I have added about 25 bathrooms at least since coming into Colorado, because if you ask me, I don't care if there's a trailhead here, but if there's a pit toilet, that might change my planning for the day. I have enjoyed how much I've been able to contribute on the Hiking America stuff this trip. You know, just small corrections or adding coffee shops, campsites, things like that. That is one of the advantages of Far Out also. You know, when I was going through the Black Hills, I was one of the few to come through there in fall and years. And it felt like I was actually contributing good information. You know, sometimes with all the injuries, pain, struggles, etc., it's easy to lose track of just how much better I feel out here moving along. It doesn't even matter where I'm going. So following the trend out here after yesterday's butt kicker climb out of Crested Butte, I am mostly going back down. By the time I get to Marble, I will actually be below 8,000, which I think that's a new low record for the last couple of weeks at least. I'm also hoping they may have some hot food down there, because I could really use that at the moment. I've been craving a burger for a while. I used to enjoy driving up roads like this to get to desert peaks and things. Really cool camping, etc. But that was in the days I was gainfully employed in the IT sector and could afford it if I broke something on my Jeep. I actually used to do stuff like this in a RAV4 Sport way back in the day, and yeah, I did some damage. Oh, Blondie would be happy. Well, that's different. The only issue with these Jeep horse roads, other than the rocks, are the crossings are occasionally a little bit challenging. You know, I have conversations periodically with people asking why the heck I'm doing all these wiggles on a cross-country hike, and I explain ADT, yada yada. But, you know, a lot of those wiggles set you up for awesome stuff like this. If it wasn't all cold and rainy, there's actually some really cool swimming holes back here. Oh man. Like I said, if only it wasn't cold and rainy. Ran into two guys scouting how much worse it was going to get. It is kind of gnarly back here, at least by my scale. Those guys got bigger balls than me. There's some of these sections, there's no way you'd get me to go up in a bike. I'm not even sure I'd be real comfortable in my Jeep. I am just in the pretty section now. Oh, once again, I would totally home base out of a place like this. The sad thing is there were 3 areas kind of similar to this in our general vicinity out in SoCal, and it looks like all 3 of them may have burned in the airport fire. So probably a good thing. Quit my job, started hiking, and we didn't decide to pauper ourselves trying to afford a house in a canyon somewhere, huh? Wow, they actually had a store up here, huh? Okay, rumor in the guide have it that there is a good barbecue place in about 5 more miles. We'll see. I have pretty much lost count of the times I have been in and out of my umbrella the last couple of days. It started coming down pretty good, so I'm giving a minute or 2 hiding under the tree here. I'm starting to get actual hikers out here. And welcome to Marble, where there's at least a single chance of there being hot food. Okay, I think I might be in business here. Okay, got my hamburger. The rain has stopped for the moment. The good news is the road to Redstone apparently isn't too bad as long as there isn't another mudslide. Bad news is I don't know where I'm going to stay around there. The only hotel that seemed reasonable in the area doesn't seem to have any availability despite the fact that it is Tuesday. Jen did talk to somebody there, and apparently there is isobutane, so that is one thing off my worry list. That was the most sustained and worst rainstorm I've had for at least a couple of weeks out here. Normally it hits, and about the time I get everything sorted, it clears up, but a good amount of water was actually coming down. There's just all sorts of like discarded marble out here. fresh snow up high again. So I'm just a few miles outside of Redstone, hence the cliff band, presumably. It's 6 o'clock. I don't have time to get in and do everything I need at the general store. So the plan is going to be find a place to camp as close to town as I can. I did briefly check in at lodgings there. The only one that's not prohibitively expensive was not showing any availability. So I'm hoping there is this canyon right before town that's listed as a water source. I'm hoping I can make something work there or at a few county properties. It has been a little while since I've had to worry about where am I going to bivvy along the busy road. After Redstone, I go into a long 90-mile section or so until I see another town. So with all the rain, the Crystal River is running pretty silty. So I am trying to find something coming from one of the sides so I can get my evening fill up. Okay, I don't know how well this is going to work. This canyon's a little on the vertical side. Oh crap. I can fill up my water, but I don't think this is working for a campsite. Okay, not my ideal. There are cabins off in the distance and things like that, but I am on county land and I think I can get by here overnight. So I guess this is going to be home sweet home.